Michael here, looking at Psalms 86 for our devotion today, a prayer of David that may be subtitled, Great is Your Steadfast Love. And we're getting the exposition from the Treasurer of David. Let's just read the introduction here. A prayer of David. We have here one of the 5 Psalms entitled Tephillas or Prayers. This psalm consists of praise as well as prayer, but it is in all parts so directly addressed to God that it is most fitly called a prayer. A prayer is none the less but all the more a prayer because veins of praise run through it. The Psalms would seem to have been specially known as David's prayer, even as the 19th is the prayer of Moses. David composed it, and no doubt often expressed himself in similar language. Both the matter and the wording are suitable to his varied circumstances and expressive of the different characteristics of his mind. In many respects, it resembles Psalm 17:1-15, which bears the same title, but in other aspects it is very different. The prayer of a good man have a family likeness, but they vary as much as they agree. We may learn from the present psalm that the great saints of old were accustomed to pray very much in the same fashion as we do. Believers in all ages are of one genus. The name of God occurs very frequently in these psalms. Sometimes it is Jehovah, but more commonly Adonai, which it is believed by many learned scholars was written by the Jewish transcribers instead of the sublimer title, because their superstitious dread led them to do so. We, laboring under no such tormenting fear, rejoice in Jehovah our God. It is singular that those who were so afraid of their God that they dared not write his name, had yet so little godly fear that they dared to alter his word. And so we're going to get into what's our goal today, to lend the exposition of verse 1 through to 4. Let's go and read those 4 verses then. King James Version. Verse 1. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Verse 2. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Verse 3. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. And as we get to the treasure of David for the exposition, let's go ahead and read verse 1 again. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Spurgeon exposits. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me. In condescension to my littleness, and in pity of my weakness, bow down thine ear, O Lord. When our prayers are lowly by reason of our humility, or feeble by reason of our sickness, or without wing by reason of our despondency, the Lord will bow down to them. The infinitely exalted Jehovah will have respect unto them. Faith, when she has the loftiest name of God on her tongue, and calls him Jehovah, yet dares to ask from him the most tender and condescending acts of love. Great as he is, he loves his children to be bold with him. For I am poor and needy, doubly a son of poverty, because first poor, and without supply for my needs, and next needy, and so full of wants, though unable to supply them. Our distress is a forcible reason for our being heard by the Lord God, merciful and gracious, for misery is ever the master argument with mercy. Such reasoning as this would never be adopted by a proud man, and when we hear it repeated in the public congregation by those great ones of the earth who count the peasantry to be little better than the earth they tread upon, it sounds like a mockery of the Most High. Of all despicable sinners, Those are the worst who use the language of spiritual poverty while they think themselves to be rich and increased in goods. And verse 2 that reads, Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Preserve my soul. Let my life be safe from my enemies, and my spiritual nature be secure from their temptations. He feels himself unsafe, except he be covered by the divine protection. For I am holy, I am set apart for holy uses. Therefore do not let thine enemies commit a sacrilege by injuring or defiling me. I am clear of the crimes laid to my charge, and in that sense innocent. Therefore I beseech thee, do not allow me to suffer from unjust charges. And I am inoffensive, meek, and gentle towards others. Therefore deal mercifully with me, as I have dealt with my fellow men. Any of these renderings may explain the text. Perhaps all together will expound it best. It is not self-righteous in good men to plead their innocence as a reason for escaping from the results of sins wrongfully ascribed to them. Penitents do not bedaub themselves with mire for the love of it, or make themselves out to be worse than they are out of complaint to heaven. No, the humblest saint is not a fool, and he is well aware of the matters wherein he is clear, as of those wherein he must cry, Peccavi! To plead guilty to offenses we have never committed is as great a lie as a denial of our real faults. O thou, my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee, lest any man should suppose that David trusted in his own holiness. He immediately declared his trust in the Lord, and begged to be saved as one who was not holy in the sense of being perfect, but was even yet in need of the very clemence of salvation. How sweet is that title, my God, when joined to the other, thy servant. And how sweet is the hope that on this ground we shall be saved, seeing that our God is not like the Amalekish master who left his poor sick servant to perish. Note how David's poor I am, or rather the I repeated with the am, appeals to the great I am with that sacred boldness engendered by the necessity which breaks through stone walls, aided by the faith which removes mountains. Verse 3 that reads, Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Spurgeon exposits. Be merciful unto me, O Lord. The best of men need mercy, and appeal to mercy, yea, to nothing else but mercy. They need it for themselves and crave it eagerly of their God as a personal requisite. For I cry unto thee daily. Is there not a promise that importunity shall prevail? May we not then plead our importunity as an argument with God? He who prays every day and all day, for so the word may mean, may rest assured that the Lord will hear him in the day of his need. If we cried sometimes to man, or other false confidences, we might expect to be referred to them in the hour of our calamity. But if in all former times we have looked to the Lord alone, we may be sure that he will not desert us now. See how David pleaded. First that he was poor and needy. Next that he was the Lord's set apart one. Then that he was God's servant and had learned to trust in the Lord. And lastly, that he had been taught to pray daily. Surely these are such holy pleadings as any tried believer may employ when wrestling with a prayer-hearing God. And with such weapons, the most trembling suppliant may hope to win the day. And verse 4 that reads, Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. Rejoice the soul of thy servant. Make my heart glad, O my Maker, For I count in my honor to call myself again and again thy servant, and I reckon thy favor to be all the wages I could desire. I look for all my happiness in thee only, and thereunto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. As the heliotrope looks to the sun for its smile, so turn I my heart to thee. Thou art as the brazen serpent to my sick nature, and I lift up my soul's eye to thee that I may live. I know that the nearer I am to thee, the greater is my joy. Therefore be pleased to draw me nearer while I am laboring to draw near. It is not easy to lift a soul at all. It needs a strong shoulder at the wheel when a heart sticks in the miry clay of despondency. It is less easy to lift a soul up to the Lord, for the height is great as well as the weight oppressive. But the Lord will take the will for the deed, and come in with a hand of almighty grace to raise his poor servant out of the earth and up to heaven. Oh, awesome and wonderful and marvelous is our God. Let us ever give him praise. Praise that can never be sufficient. Praise that should be enduring and repetitive. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be